Time now to speak to one of my favourite people. I, of course, got to meet Fiona Murphy, who's our resident rabbit expert, and that's quite difficult to say a number of months ago. And she joins us now this morning to give us more advice on caring for our long-eared, fluffy companions. Fiona, good morning.
Morning, Brian. How are you?
Great to have you with us. At this time of year, is there a specific sort of returning every summer list of jobs that rabbit owners need to do? Are they, dealing with the holes that rabbits have dug over the winter months and trying to make sure that the hutches, etc., are all safe? Or are they keeping the animals well hydrated? What's going on in the life of a rabbit owner in the middle of July every year?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely it's worth checking your runs and your outdoor hutches for signs of predators getting in or your rabbits trying to get out, but that really should be done all through the year. And hydration is probably the most important thing, definitely, whether your rabbits are indoors or outdoors at the moment. And it can be worth putting a probiotic into their water as well, just to keep that gut moving, and to wet their vegetables can be really helpful as well when it's so hot, just to keep them hydrated as well.
How much should a rabbit drink? I mean, maybe it's an open-ended question, but if I'm thinking about the stereotypical white little bundle of joy that's about the size of a football, how much should I be keeping an eye on what they're drinking?
Yeah, they think around 150 or 200 mils per rabbit per day. But that obviously varies with the weather and the size of the rabbit, and some rabbits drink more than others. So they reckon that the best thing to do is to give them a big bowl of water to drink from. They can get more water than in a bottle, so bowls tend to be better. So a ceramic dog bowl actually is what your rabbit probably should be drinking every day. So obviously change it every day and top it up when it needs to be topped up.
I also know from our previous conversations that eating hay in particular is important, because often we think, what's up, Doc, and we're just throwing carrots and vegetables at them. But just how important is eating hay to rabbits, and again, how much should they be eating?
Yeah, I think Bugs Bunny has a lot to be...
yeah, Walt Disney again to blame, of course.
Yes. And apparently that comes from a Carrot Grant movie where he was holding a carrot and eating it, and they emulated it with Bugs Bunny, and so now everybody thinks that rabbits should eat carrots, but actually rabbits really shouldn't eat carrots very often, just as an occasional treat, because they're so high in sugar. Right. But their main part of their diet, really the picture should all have pictures of rabbits eating hay because that's what it should be. So rabbits can survive very well on lots of hay, and that's what they need most of really in their diet. It should be at least 80% of their diet, because it keeps their gut moving all the time, which is necessary for them to survive. Their gut needs to be constantly moving. And also it wears down their teeth, which are constantly growing. Right. So they should be all the size of their bodies every day, and a lot of people don't realise that's what they should be eating. And they can be quite picky about their hay, but generally speaking, they're picky because they're filling up on other things.
And is there a lot of choice in the market? I mean, I don't know the difference between one type of hay and the next type of hay. Maybe if I was a rabbit owner, I would. But what should we be looking out for if you are a new owner of a rabbit who's going hay shopping for the first time?
Yeah, so there is an awful lot of hay there on the market. So the two main types available in Ireland would be meadow hay and Timothy hay. So Timothy hay is stockier and greener and longer strands and kind of like a harder hay. And then meadow hay is what you basically see in the fields that the rabbits have been, or the farmers have put into bales. So it doesn't really matter. There's not a huge difference nutritional wise between the two, or between any of the hays that are available really. And I always say the best hay for your rabbit is the one that they'll actually eat. So whichever hay they'll eat and they like, keep feeding that. But they do like a variety, and you can also get them with different herbs mixed in. And you can also get different ones with carrot and apple and that kind of stuff. And nice for an occasional treat, but again, high in sugar. So
how long before we see hays on the market that have added vitamins and minerals and things like this? Because pretty much every pet food, and indeed human food now, there's something added somewhere, isn't there?
With yes, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. So you can get a lot of really good hays in the pet shop, but they can be kind of dusty. So it's worth paying a bit more for a decent kind of hay. If it looks good and it smells good, and you think it looks and smells good, your rabbit is obviously going to think the same. So, but there's some great companies out there now who provide hay in boxes delivered to your door, and they do all the different forages as well, dried flowers and stuff that you can mix into the hay to encourage the hay eating as well. Hay Your Way would be one of those.
hay your way. That's a fabulous bit of
Yeah.
advertising and marketing in terms of coming up with a name for 'em. Is it
Yeah.
expensive? Is hay expensive?
It can be, but it's usually cheaper to buy it by the box. It tends to be more expensive actually in pet shops because you only get a small packet for. I bought a carrot flavour for one of ours that's a bit fussy, and he's just had some teeth surgery, so I bought some the other day, and it was $6.99 for a small bag. I was a bit horrified. So if you buy it by the box, it tends to be cheaper. Or if you've got a farm near you and you can get a bale, I'm sure a lot of your listeners are there in rural areas, you can get a bale for €4 or €5. So if you can store it, then it's really fresh. You know?
And it'd be a fair bit of eating on a decent sized bale of hay in terms of when it's untied, etc. It'll expand and it'll keep them going for quite a while. So they're not a particularly expensive pet to keep in that regard in terms of feeding them. In terms of other costs, are there anything that's unique to rabbits in terms of their costs of keeping a pet like that?
So the vaccinations would probably be the big one, really. And if they need any kind of vet care at all, it tends to be quite expensive because the vets are specialists. They have to do extra courses. And so even seeing a rabbit savvy vet for, something like, a gut stasis or something like that can rack up a bill of a couple of €100. And there's not really rabbit insurance. There isn't rabbit insurance in Ireland. You can get dog and cat insurance that would cover some of their bills here in Ireland, but they don't cover rabbits, I think, because they're so expensive. But a lot of the vets now do pet plans where you pay maybe €12 or €15 a month, and it gives you a discount off a lot of their the things that they might need, and a lot of them, the vaccines are included free, and also maybe the neutering might be included or a discount off the neutering as well. So
at least you're taking the worry out of getting a large bill if something happens. I don't know whether it covers emergency procedures as well, but certainly all those regular stuff, it's well worth having. You were talking about the food, right? And you were saying how the hay is perfect because it keeps the rabbits regular, and it helps wear down their teeth.
Yeah.
Just how quickly do rabbits' teeth grow, and how often do you come across rabbits where it's becoming a problem?
So their teeth are constantly growing. I can't think off the top of my head how much it is. It's a couple of centimetres a month or something. I'd have to look that up, but they're constantly growing. And rabbits are very prone to teeth issues. Now, some of it is genetic, especially if they're crossbreed rabbits, because they could be bred from two rabbits that have a different shaped skull, and that means that the teeth might grow in a funny direction. And if they don't eat a lot of hay as well, they can get tooth spurs where the teeth at the back get quite sharp, and they can then dig into their teeth or their tongue. So it's really important to have a 6-monthly checkup with your vet for them to check the back teeth, because they have to be checked with a special tool. They're the only people that can see the back teeth. I can look at the front teeth, and the owners can learn to look at the front teeth, but you can't see the ones at the back, which are often the ones that cause the problems.
Well, they just don't like you opening their mouths, for example.
And they do not like you opening their mouths either. Yes, exactly. So, so they do grow all the time. These problems can be very common. So the best thing to do is encourage the hay eating and get a 6-monthly checkup at the vet as well to keep on top of it.
Mm-hmm. And they probably, if needed, the vet probably clip them or file them down or something?
Yeah, so if it's the front ones, they can sometimes clip them. They may have to remove them sometimes if they start growing.
That's making my face feel weird even hearing you talking about somebody clipping your teeth.
Yeah, so they can learn to survive without their front teeth, and you just have to cut up vegetables quite small, but they'll learn to chew their back teeth if they have to be removed. But if they constantly grow curling, then they can be in every 2 or 3 weeks getting them clipped back, and it's kinder just to take them out altogether. Okay. The ones at the back would require some kind of an anaesthetic, usually a general anaesthetic, and then they burr them down to wear them down. Yeah. So one of ours has that issue, and he's in every 3 or 4 months getting them done.
My God.
So, yeah.
That must be expensive then if it's not covered by the insurance programs you were talking about a moment ago.
Yes, it can be indeed, yes.
You busy at the moment? People away on holidays for those that are lucky enough to be going away, and also to be a rabbit owner? Your own boarding business must be flat out.
Yes, flat out this time of year, absolutely. Flat out with the waiting list turning people away now, unfortunately. So depending on the dates, the August bank holiday at the end of July seems to be the busiest weekend of the year for us. I don't know why, but that's always booked up months in advance, and people still book in. So it's good complaint. We love it, and it's great to be able to help people relax when they're on holiday knowing that bunnies are in good hands.
Well, I'm sure they are. Fiona Murphy, a pleasure as always yapping to you. Take care. And if people want to follow you online, because I know lots of people have rabbits and they might benefit from your expertise, or maybe they're thinking about getting a rabbit and want to learn from you before they make a final decision. Remind us once again where we'll find you on social media.
At Fiona Murphy, the bunny coach, on all the socials, and www.FionaMurphyTheBunnyCoach.com as well.
Yeah, the bunny coach. Fiona Murphy, take care. Take care of all of those rabbits as well that are in your care. I'm sure they're all enjoying their holidays with you while their owners are away. But we'll talk to you again soon, Fiona.
Thank you. Bye.